Well, hello and welcome to another video by Financial Ernie. On today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the ATVM loan application. What is the criteria? What is the eligibility, both technical and financial requirements in order for a company to qualify? So let's go ahead and get right into it. This video is going to be a little bit dry, but if you do read along, check out some of these highlights. And if you'd like to read the full article, I'll have that in the description as well as some of the hyperlinks that you can see at the top. All right, so eligibility requirements are for ATVs as well as qualifying components. So we'll go into a little bit more detail on the right-hand side, but let's just keep reading through a little bit further. So the vehicle must be one of the following. It has to either be a passenger automobile or light truck that satisfies both emission standards, as well as at least 125% of the harmonic production weighted average combined fuel economy for vehicles with substantially similar attributes. So there's a lot of information there. Second potential requirement for the vehicle would be an ultra efficient vehicle. So ultra efficient vehicle is a fully closed compartment vehicle designed to carry at least 2 adult passengers, and that achieves at least, we're going to go ahead and jump straight down to section 3, which is 75 miles per gallon equivalent while operating as a fully electric vehicle. Interesting thing I want to highlight about the carrying at least 2 people. We do know that Mullen has their class 1 EV vans, and there's 2 different types of vans. There's a single passenger van and a 2-passenger van. So if you're looking at the ultra efficient vehicle portion, that would be for a 2-passenger van. But as everyone knows, the recent ATVM loan application is dealing with the battery packs. So we're talking actually about the component eligibility. However, the first requirement of component eligibility is that it has to be designed for ATVs. So even though the loan that they're applying for isn't specifically for the ATVs, it's for the battery packs, it still has to be defined as an ATV. So it's important to kind of understand the ATV definition as well. All right, going into technical eligibility requirements for applicants, you can see I have listed here as 10 CFR 611 100A1. And we're going to go through that a little bit further. You can see the definition under there. It says eligible applicant. And in order to be eligible and to receive the loan under this, the applicant must either be an automobile manufacturer that can demonstrate and improve fuel economy as specified in paragraph 5, or a manufacturer of qualifying components. So we know that for this loan, they are trying to manufacture battery packs. So they're going to be going for a manufacturer of qualifying components. All right, so you may have seen section 611.2 listed under the eligibility requirements. That just goes over all the different definitions. I did grab the definition for advanced technology vehicle, so we can kind of break that down a little bit. But if you do pull the full site, if you pull up all the information, you can kind of read through all the different definitions and kind of helps explain a little bit more. But we'll go ahead and jump down to 611.3, which is the advanced technology vehicle. So in order for it to be considered an ATV, it must provide the following. So it has to have an emission certificate, and the certificate requirements are specified in the definition of advanced technology vehicle. So jumping down to the very bottom right, you'll see advanced technology vehicle, and it means a passenger automobile or light truck that meets, and I'm not going to go through the Ben 5 Tier 2 portion, just what's highlighted there is the EPA has to be established as an issuer of the EPA under Section 202I of the Clean Air Act. So we do know that Mullen's Class 1 van recently did get that EPA certification along with the Class 3 truck, but specifically we're talking about the van for this loan, so I want to make that clear. And then also the vehicle, any new emission standard in the effect for fine particulate matter. Again, we're talking about a fully EV truck and a fully EV van. So for the van, the emission standard is going to be pretty easy. There is no emissions for the electric vehicle. And then section 3, again, we're talking about this 125% of a harmonic production weighted average combined fuel economy for vehicles with substantially similar attributes in model year 2005. All right, so that's the definition of ATV. Going back to the advanced technology vehicle, section B, demonstration of fuel economy performance. Again, they talk about the 120% average. And then jumping down to section 3 under B, you're going to see that this has to do with electric. So in the case of an electric vehicle, with the ability to recharge from an off-board source. An automobile manufacturer must provide the DOE with a test procedure and sufficient data to demonstrate that the vehicle meets or exceeds the applicable average combined fuel economy of vehicles with substantially similar attributes. So that was a lot to speak through. Got it on the first take. So we'll go ahead and move forward and talk a little bit more about some of the other requirements. All right, we talked a little bit about the technical side. Now let's talk about the financial eligibility requirements. Again, this is listed here in the URL if you want to follow along and get a little bit more detail. I did take some snippets from that and I highlighted what I thought was most important. So financial eligibility requirements for applicants. This is referencing section 10 CFR 611-100A2. So for applicant to be eligible for the ATVM program, they must be financially viable without the receipt of additional federal funding associated with the proposed eligible project. So as I mentioned in another video, Mullen Automotive is currently trying to get a government grant along with this government loan. So in the event they end up getting approved for both, they're going to take the grant over the loan. Why would you want to take money that you have to pay back when the grant is free money for you to make these battery packs? So in the event the grant doesn't get approved, this loan is definitely a good opportunity for Mullen if they end up getting approved. So talk a little bit more about the financially viable. The company has to be able to show that they can reasonably pay principal and interest as and when due under the ATVM program loan. And they also have to have a net present value that is positive, taking all costs, existing and future, into account. All right, and if you look to the right, you're going to see section 100C. So this is some of those additional factors that are considered, and they're included but not limited to being considered financially viable for this loan. So number one, the debt to equity ratio as of the date of the loan application. Number two, the applicant's earnings. This is before the EBITDA for the applicant's most recent fiscal year prior to the date of the loan application. Number three is the applicant's applicant's debt to EBITDA ratio. Number four is the interest coverage ratio. Number five is the fixed charge coverage ratio. Number six is the applicant's liquidity. Number seven is the applicant's lenders, that the applicant is in current with payments due under loans made by those lenders at the time of the loan application. So again, the government could reach out to any outstanding loans to talk to Mullen's lenders to see if they've been paying their loans in a timely manner. And number eight, financial projections, demonstrating the applicant's solvency through a period of time that the loan is outstanding. So what's the projected forecast for revenue while this loan is taking place? All right, and then jumping back over to the left, I want to talk a little bit about section D, part of the restrictions. Again, as I've mentioned, additional federal funding would include loans, grants, guarantees, insurance payment, rebates, subsidy, credit, tax benefit, or any other form of direct or indirect assistance from the federal government. Underlying grant because, as discussed before, Mullen currently is in process of applying for a government grant for the same project here that we're talking about. All right, and wrapping up, we're going to talk about what are the eligible projects for applying this cost, or applying this loan. So the ATVM loan program only allows proceeds of its loan to be used to pay or, in parentheses, reimburse the applicant for payments of eligible costs. I highlighted that section because I think it's important to know that Mullen has taken out a loan already through Asusa for $50 million, in which they're going to be getting $32 million. Everyone's been asking, what is that money for? We know that it was for some form of operations, and now I am wondering if that loan is for this battery pack manufacturing. So Mullen very well could be moving forward with purchasing some of the tooling, some of the fixturing, some of the different manufacturing equipment needed in order to be able to kind of scale up and kick off the battery pack manufacturing there at that Fullerton location. All right, so going a little bit further into the projects. The costs have to be reasonably related to re-equipping, expanding, or establishing a manufacturing facility in the United States to produce ATVs or qualifying components. So again, talking about the Fullerton location. And B, cost of engineering, integration, performed in the United States for ATVs or qualifying components. So not only can you pay for the different activities involving the equipment, and tooling and things of that nature for manufacturing, but you can also pay for some of the engineering, some of the integrators that you may have to bring on site, or that you may be paying as part of the overall project on a temporary basis to help you, kick off the manufacturing of those battery packs. All right, and then I went ahead and broke down a little bit more of some of the eligible project costs. Again, this is coming straight from that 10 CFR 611. So 102. Number one, we already mentioned it: re-equipping, expanding, establishing manufacturing in the United States, or for the ATVs, or for the qualifying components. Cost of engineering, as I mentioned. Number three was cost for payment with loan proceeds that are incurred but not yet paid by the borrower. So maybe they've requested a loan, they haven't paid it back yet. The cost for that type of loan, if it's being used for, as I mentioned, the equipping, expanding, establishing the manufacturing facility, or the engineering costs associated, that could be used for that. And then section 4 talks about any costs incurred after closing of the loan. So potentially they can apply for the loan and then start to purchase some of those materials, some of the equipment, pay to the engineering team members to come in there and do some of the integration. All right, and I want to talk a little bit about section B under eligible project costs. And this talks about that the DOE and the applicant may include significant costs already incurred and capitalized by the applicant in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. And these costs may be considered by the DOE in determining the borrower's contribution to the total project cost. So I highlighted again, we're talking about in the event that Mullen's already purchased some of this equipment, some of the manufacturing. Remember, they purchased some Romeo power equipment that would be used right there in the Fullerton location. So not only were they able to get a lot of that equipment at a discount, but potentially they're able to use this loan to help finance some of that cost, and then now they can turn around and scale up some additional battery pack manufacturing. So this is the end of the video. Thanks for watching. I know this was a little bit of a drier video, but I think it's important to break down some of the detailed either contracts or kind of like loan agreements, criteria, things of that nature. It's always good to know that. And like I said, I'll have the link in the description below. If you like this video, if you want to hear more about this, please put some questions you may have in the comments. If you haven't done already, please consider subscribing, and I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks.